One.
A very good evening to all the students and teachers and mentors who've logged in today for our second session in the ATL Space Challenge. And today we have a very special guest, as always. We have with us Dr. Srimati Kesan, who's the founder of an interesting organization called Space Kids India. And we'll talk more about that later. We also have Mr. Rifat Shahrukh, who's the CTO of Space Kids, and Mr. Kirtan Chand, a software engineer with Space Kids India as well. So, Space Kids India as an organization was created to help young students, just like all of you, to understand space, to learn more about not just space, but also science, technology, culture, and art. They're the first organization in the world to have launched satellites which were completely developed by high school students and college students. They have successfully launched 12 balloon satellites, two suborbital satellites, and two orbital satellites, all completely made by students and made in India as well. They have also launched the lightest satellite called KalamSAT V2 into orbit from ISRO on the 24th of January 2019. They hold multiple records for this, including the Limca records for launching the first ever balloon satellite to near space. They have been awarded, they've launched this from ISRO, and not just ISRO, but they are also awarded the ambassador status to the NASA space camps at the Kennedy Space Center, Florida, and the Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center in Moscow, Russia. So that was a little bit about our speakers today and about the organization that they come from. I would now like to request Dr. Kesan to take the session forward and tell us a little more about your journey.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much, Swati. Thank you for the introduction, lovely introduction. And I'm so excited to see all the students virtually, I should say. It's sad that we are not meeting any of you really, and everything is in virtual mode. And anyway, but being virtual mode, at least we are able to meet and interact with students across the country, which otherwise wouldn't have been possible. Well, I come from this organization, or rather, I'm the founder of the organization called Space Kids India. Everybody must be wondering, what is this Space Kids India? Yes, you can see that word space, which we all love, right? When you look above, when you look above, it is such a beautiful thing to see stars, to see the moon, to see the sun, so many beautiful things. And of course, if you look in through the telescope, you get to see the planets and everything, right? The Milky Way, the planets and everything. Now, so many things have been happening in space, right, children? We're all going to the Mars, to the moon. It's so exciting, right? People all say there are so many problems on Earth. Why the hell do you have to spend so much money going to different planets? But that is science, right? You spend at least about 99% of your time, money, energy, everything for Earth, but spend that 1% to go to another planet, to go to the moon, to understand our universe. It's so beautiful. Space is become the in thing. I'm very sure everybody would acknowledge this, that space is the in thing, and every child is got that within them, that one day they definitely have to go to space. Right, children? I'm very sure you all must be nodding your head. And you all must be reading so much about ISRO. ISRO in the last, well, we've crossed 50 years, just crossed the 50 years mark. And in this 50 years, we've made a lot of interesting things in space, right? The Chandrayaan 1, the success of Chandrayaan 1, the success of Mangalyaan, really gave us that enthusiasm to do Chandrayaan 2 and then the Gaganyaan mission. So these two missions, I think, we got to wait, because Chandrayaan 2, we had a little, in the end, a little wobble. So we are waiting for a relaunch, I should say, or another launch. And then Gaganyaan, the most awaited human launch right into space. We are all waiting. I want to be an astronaut, but I cannot be an astronaut now, right? But space tourism is picking up so much that I can travel to space at least for 2 or 3 days. So I'm super excited about that. In fact, we at Space Kids want to slowly work towards developing a rocket exclusively for space tourism. But initially, what happened? How did we do these satellites? I will tell you a small story because I've got my kids, Rifat, and my CTO and my software engineer, Kirtan, along with me. They are going to be talking to you all the technical stuff. And I am going to talk to you some interesting factor that happened with us when we launched the world's lightest satellite, the Gulab Jamun sat. Oh, not the Gulab Jamun. Well, the KalamSAT. You must be wondering, why did I say Gulab Jamun? Right? Yes, inspiration. Inspiration is one term. If you look around, if you look around, you will find so many things that are inspiring to you, right? So similarly, what happened? When we shipped our satellite, the first one called the SkySat to the US, my entire team was so excited and they said, ma'am, we want Gulab Jamuns, we want Gulab Jamuns, please, we are all tired. And I think we've done with the satellite, we've done the best job. So now it calls for a treat. So they were all super excited and I said, I'm so tired. They didn't listen to me. They said, no, however tired you are going to make Gulab Jamuns. And I said, okay, let me do it. And I started making Gulab Jamuns and I made Gulab Jamuns this size. You all know Gulab Jamuns, what size they are. Well, I made this size and I, actually served it to my entire team. My lead scientist, Rifat Sharok, who will be talking to you in a while, and my lead engineer, Khasif, both of them were admiring the Gulab Jamun. And I was like, guys, come on, stop admiring the Gulab Jamun, start eating. And they were like, ma'am, it would be so nice if we had an opportunity to launch this size of satellite. It wouldn't cost more because you all know, India has launched how many satellites? Do you all know? Roughly about 180 to 134 satellites from the first satellite Aryabhatta until now. Okay, so we've got various satellites working there up. And that's why our telecommunication is on par with any super country. And we are so blessed to have the Indian Space Research Organization, which many countries do not have. And we are the fourth country dominating the space arena, right? And we are so proud of ISRO. Well, coming back to the story, initially when we got to understand, this is about, say, 2016, about 5 years ago, when we we built the balloon sats and, suborbital sat and all that. We were so ambitious to build an orbital satellite because you all know a satellite means it has to go around the orbit, right? So that's called satellite. But yet, the first step to enter space, when we send these balloons, we call them balloon sat. And then when it crosses the Karman line, we say suborbital because it goes up and comes down like a parabola. It doesn't go around the Earth. So those satellites are called suborbital satellite, right? So we were thinking that, this we have done. We have to do an orbital satellite. And if we are able to do this smaller size of a satellite, it's going to be amazing. And the cost factor, children, mind you, it's very, very expensive to send a satellite up. The launch cost itself is about 40, anywhere between, now it is between 40 and $60,000 per kilogram mass. But initially, in those days, it was almost costing us about 1 to 2 crore rupees. we were not that very rich, so we couldn't afford that. So that's the reason my lead scientist and engineer were so excited when they saw the Gulab Jamun, and they said, let's launch a satellite as small as this so that we need not pay a lot for the launch cost. I think universe heard that. And in 2 days down the lane, NASA announced a competition along with Cubes in Space. Rather, Cubes in Space announced a competition with NASA, and the organization's name was iDoodle, and they had, announced that any experiment which would be made, designed 64 grams mass, and if the experiment is unique, we will be sending it through NASA's rocket, free of cost. So the free of cost was so exciting to hear for us, and we were super thrilled. We worked on it, and we sent a proposal, and that proposal was a satellite, 64 grams of mass, and that was inspired by a Gulab Jamun, and it was called the Gulab Jamun Sat first, and then we renamed it as the KalamSAT. So this made history. It broke so many records, it created so many records, and almost 900 media attraction was there in that. So children, I just want to tell you something. It is just that one unique idea. You need not have too many things on your head. People say space is very, very nasty because it will punish you drastically even if you make the slightest of mistake. But again, space is also very, very sweet. According to me, I'm going to call the term sweet. If you're able to think different and work towards it, I think you will be successful. That's how we launched our first satellite, KalamSAT V2. KalamSAT V2, the lightest satellite from ISRO on 24th January 2019. And 28th of February 2021, that is this year, we launched. Well, let me show you the structure of the KalamSAT, the world's lightest satellite. This is the KalamSAT structure. This went on a NASA Terrier Orion rocket, free of cost. So it was the idea. It was the idea that took us so long. And this one is the Satish Dhawan Sat. Satish Dhawan Sat, a 3U satellite, and this weighed about close to 2 kilos. And, apart from the scientific experiment, my lead scientist will talk to you about that and explain to you what we've done. And you can also work towards it because he's going to show you hands-on. So you will really enjoy tracking the satellites because that's the most, I think, loved one among children, right? So you can start designing, launching, and tracking your own satellite from your school labs. You should just have a good team, get together, work on a problem, solve the problem, and start building this. We are here to support you and stand by you and hold your hands. So, children, I wanted to, share the story of our journey with you and make you feel that satellites are no longer very, very difficult and, difficult to build. It is just that you need to be on the right track and you need to understand every step rightly to build a proper satellite, right? When my kids can do it, I think you all can do it. So over to my lead scientist, Rifat Shahrukh, who will be talking about tracking the satellites. Rifat.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey guys, how are you? Good afternoon. Very happy to connect with you guys today. It's really exciting to, talk to you all. Yeah, ma'am was talking, about all our missions how we built our, nano satellites, all those things. But I am very excited to tell you guys that you can also be part of real space mission, and you can connect with satellites which are right now revolving around Earth and download data directly from the satellite for just few thousand rupees. And you may not believe that, but that is actually possible. So let's see how we can do that. I need to share my screen. They have permission? Okay, let me share. I hope you guys are able to see my screen. Okay. So this program is called TinyGS. You guys can go to Google and search as TinyGS. TinyGS means tiny ground station. Okay. So you guys go to TinyGS and click the first link. So basically you will get a map like this. And there's lot of small antennas. You know what they are? They all are real tracking stations. And these tracking stations are made up of small computers like this. You can see there's a very small board costing just around, 2000 rupees. You can buy it online and you can put some code into this, power it up and connect it to an antenna, and boom, you will become part of this ground station network. So there are like few satellites which are compatible with this ground station. So whenever the satellite is coming over your head, you will automatically download data from this. And also you can see the data which is being downloaded by other, other antennas, other ground stations. For example, let me zoom and see. In Dubai we have, two ground stations here. You know, you can start seeing what kind of data you can get from there. So to get started, what you should do is you should, go to TinyGS, and then if you just want to, have a look at data, if you don't want to buy this, board programming, making antenna not, you can go to tinygs.com, and in the last page, in the last line, there is something called get started. So in that, there will be something called join our Telegram channel. So you just click the Telegram channel, you open it, and when you open Telegram, there is a group called TinyGS Telemetry. And what they did is they have connected these ground stations to Telegram channel. So whenever like you can in live, it's not something simulated or something. It is live data coming from satellite right into your Telegram WhatsApp. So all these ground stations are downloading data from different kinds of satellites, and they are sending that to you through Telegram live. Okay. This is one kind of thing you can do if you don't have this hardware. But if you have hardware, uh, you have to go to the, visit our GitHub page is there, right? You click that GitHub page, you go to this page, and they have given all the details here. What kind of hardware you should buy, how to install the software, how to configure the ground station. Everything is given in this web page. Okay. Once you do all this thing, you will be able to, just you need to make a small antenna like this, you know, just you can make a small antenna like this using wires they use for cable TV, right? It's called as coaxial cable. So you can take that wire, and in this web page itself there are instructions about how to make your own antenna. Then you can take the small board, there is a wire here, right? There is a wire here, and you have to connect the antenna to this and upload a software to this board. Okay, have to upload a software to this board, and then you just need to connect a power bank or something and just put it on top of your home, like rooftop or balcony or somewhere. So whenever the satellite comes over your home, you don't need to like do anything. The board will automatically, the software will calculate everything, and it will, turn on a receiver, and it will download the data. Like for example, what are the payload data, what are the like temperature ranges, temperature levels across various sensors. The satellite, it will collect all the data, and automatically it will get downloaded into your computer. So you can play with the satellites. You can that real feeling of how to get data from the satellite into your own computer using this kind of small setup. It's called TinyGS, Tiny Ground Station. You can go to their website and click on the GitHub page, and it will give you line by line instruction about what to do and how to set up your own ground station. So this is for smaller ground stations, okay, for just receiving the data and everything. But when we are having our own satellite, we need to do a lot of advanced operations, like sending the data, reprogramming the satellite. For that, we need bigger antennas. Like we need big antennas. We need big uh, receivers and everything. So I'll just play a small video about how we did our SD sat, and what how our antenna and everything was looking like. Let me play this video. I hope you guys can hear the sound. 1 second. I'll play the video. You just tell me now if you're able to listen to the sound. Is it audible?
No.
1 second. I'll just stop my screen sharing and I'll reshare it. 1 second.
So children, you have heard from Rifat how to make the antenna, how to get into the web page. And this is real time. This is real time. So don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. And don't say that you want to design a satellite and launch a satellite immediately. Start working on all these projects. Building an antenna is an interesting thing. Building Yagis, Yagi antennas, that's what we do for our balloon sat missions and all that. So 2 3 of you all get together, build an antenna, put it on your terrace, log on to this TinyGS, get into the Telegram page. You will get a telemetry. You can work on the data. So once you get a hang of all this, that is going to be very, very interesting for you. So Rifat is back. So we will show you.
Yes, my software got crashed actually. This is how we build the satellite.
This is the clean room scoop. So that's where our satellite is inside the C51 rocket.
So in this video, you can see an antenna like this, and you can see, this antenna, automatically rotating. You can see that. Our software engineer, who's also the expert in this kind of antenna system, will tell you why we need this kind of big antennas and why it needs to move, and how you can also make a small version of same thing yourself so you can play with it.
So over to Kirtan. Kirtan, we are waiting for you.
Hello, everyone. This is Kirtan. I'm software engineer at Space Kids India. Me and my team, we worked on satellite software, and also we worked on antenna software. So coming to antennas, like why do we need antenna pointing towards a satellite, like tracking systems for antennas to get data from satellite? like whatever we're getting data from what all the data which we're getting from the satellite like needs to be very accurate. Like you can't point your antenna somewhere else and expect data to capture. So what we do is we have motors which will be connected to the antenna, and antenna will be pointing exactly towards the satellite. So we built the software which understands where exactly satellite is from the Earth's perspective, like from our ground station perspective, and it will point antenna exactly towards the satellite. So might be like, why don't I just grab the antenna in my hand and point it towards the satellite? The thing is, we are pointing at something which is 10 centimeters big, 10 to 30 centimeters big, which is 500 kilometers away, traveling with speeds of 9 kilometers per second. So it's really hard to point something at that. So for that, we need software and mechanical stuff integrated to make this work done. So let me share my screen. I'll show you the software which we use to track these systems, to track our antennas. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Kirtan.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the software. The software is called as Orbitron. This is one of the software which we use, and this is an open source software. Yes. And there's some glitch. Let me just reconnect. Yes, I'm back. Okay. So right now, there's a software called Orbitron. There's one of the open source software available which anybody can download and see where your satellites are. Not just SD-SAT, you can track any satellite, whether it can be a geostationary satellite or it can be a low Earth orbit satellite or anything. So right now, I'm tracking SD-SAT, and there's not a real-time data. This is simulated. I picked a simulation where the satellite is passing right over our headquarters. So here the satellite is, and there's a green circle around the satellite, which means that is a satellite range. Whoever inside the satellite, inside the green circle, and if they're able to point antenna towards a satellite, they'll be getting data from a satellite. So this green circle represents that. So right now, I think you can see this point called pick. So there's a current location, like our ground station. So and we actually the satellite is out of range. So as satellite comes in, like it passes like this. We'll start getting data because we are inside the green circle, and slowly satellite will go out of range. This is how satellite passes over any place. Let me just bring it back. So okay, now we have antennas. Like for every antenna, like we need to have axis. So there are two axes for our antenna. One we call as x-axis and y-axis. So in antennas, we call it as azimuth and elevation. So what is azimuth and elevation? Elevation is like if you're moving your antenna up and down, that is elevation because you're elevating your antenna. And azimuth is something whenever you move your antenna like this in this direction, this azimuth. So combine here, you can see from our perspective, from our location, azimuth is 12 and elevation is -5. So let me just bring it back over our headquarters. Yeah, here it is. So right now, yeah, azimuth is 15 and elevation is 12.7. So I need to take my antenna over, like if I have my antenna, I need to take it over my terrace and point and move my azimuth 15 degrees, which means I need to move 15 degrees like this and 12 degrees up. So antenna will be pointing exactly towards the satellite. So as antenna moves, now satellite, it just came near to our office. Now the azimuth is 22, which means azimuth is 22 and you have to elevate 37 degrees. Like with your hand, we can't, nobody can do this. Like you can't exactly get it to 22 degrees and point it 37 degrees. So this is where we use computers and mechanical parts. So for mechanical parts, let me show you our antenna. Yeah, this is our antenna. And you can see there's an 8-foot antenna, and this entire antenna can move in azimuth and as well as in elevation. So this is how it is. And we have a model of it. Like there's a scaled down version of our antenna, which we were testing in the office. I think you can see that moving. It's coming from 30 degrees to 0 degrees. So as soon as it hits 0 degrees, it will stop. The coolest part is we don't have any sensors in this. There's no rotary encoder. There's no gyroscope or nothing. What we do is we use stepper motors. So stepper motors are something like these stepper motors. Whenever you give a single pulse to a stepper motor, it will just make a single step. And each stepper motor has different modes. Let's say you're taking a 200 mode stepper motor and you have to pass 200 pulses in order to make a single revolution. So for simplicity, what I'll do is we'll consider there's a motor which can run on 360 mode. So what I do is if I send 360 pulses to the stepper motor, then it will make an entire revolution. So if I send 90 pulses, it will make a 90-degree turn. If I send 180 pulses, it will make exactly 180-degree turn. So what we did is we connected the stepper motor to our azimuth axis of our antenna. So what happens is whenever a software sees, okay, it has to move 22 degree, 22.5 degree or 37.2 degree in elevation, all these values will be sent into our another computer where our computer will estimate like how many pulses it should send to the main antenna and what all safety features it should be taken care of. And what it does is it will send all this data back to the antenna. So now antenna knows how many pulses it should produce in order to move exactly 22 degrees and up 37 elevation. So this is how a bigger antenna works. So just to demonstrate, I can't actually bring the big antenna here because it's very big and it's very heavy. So I just made a small model of that, like using servo motors. This is not accurate, but still it works. And also you guys can make it at home. So let me show you. And the coolest part is we did it using all the off-the-shelf components like Arduino and servo motors, which you can get in Amazon and all. So let me show you the model. I think you can. Is it visible?
Probably little more. You can.
Yeah.
Little more. Yeah,
So,
that's it. Yeah.
This is a model for this. Here you can see there are two servo motors. There are two motors here. One, it can move on this axis. As I told you, this is azimuth axis. And another one which can move in this axis, which is elevation. So now let me show you. I'll control this with this software, with Orbitron software. Power it up. Yep. Power down. Now okay, let me simulate a situation where a satellite is going to come above our office. I mean, above our tracking station. So I'm simulating it. So we are slowly getting into that green circle. We are not yet, but we are slowly coming in. Now we have got into the green circle, which means our antenna will be able to receive signal. The only thing is we have to point it towards the satellite. So now the software will be taking care of this. So I'm slowly, as a satellite is approaching, are you able to see this? Like it started moving slowly. It started elevating. Now it is. Right now, antenna is right above our ground station. And you can see even our antenna is pointing right 90 degrees up, which which means we are pointing exactly towards our antenna. Now now it started tracking. Now antenna satellite is moving away from us, so you can see even the model is moving down. That's it. Okay, I'll just show again. Like I'll bring it back the point. Yeah. So here again you can see. So it started tracking again. Right now, again, it came 90 degrees. Yeah, it's right above our ground station. So it is 90 degrees. And now it's going back again. So this is simulated. This is you're doing in simulation, and as well as there's a very small model. So it's very easy to build. But when it comes to real antenna, like real model and all, really hard because this antenna should be placed somewhere. It's a very big setup, so we can't take it out and put it back again. So we have to do all waterproofing. We have to select motors, and we have to select all the antennas which can withstand humidity and dust and all weather conditions. So and apart from this, yeah. And apart from this, um, coming to antennas, we are using a very big 8-foot dish antenna as well as two dipole antennas for transmission. As Rifa told, we will be updating software. We'll be getting data from the satellite, and not just our satellite. We can track any other satellite. It can be geostationary satellite, or it can be other CubeSats. And talking about precision, this is 1 degree precision. Now, right now, what you're looking is 1 degree. Like it can be plus or minus 1 degree. But what we made is 0.001 degree precision. You can like move even this much. Again, you can't even see my hand moving, but I'm moving it. Your antenna can our antenna can move even this much, like, and that's it.
So Kirtan, the homemade antenna that you showed, I think that's a very interesting one. Can you just repeat as to what are the things that children need to buy, and and how do they connect it? If you can just tell them.
Sure. Uh,
You can hold it in your hand. Yeah, you can show them what are the things that are required to make that.
Here we're using generic Arduino. You can use any Arduino. It can be Arduino Mega, Arduino Uno, or Arduino Nano. So here I'm using Arduino Nano and two servo motors. That's it. Nothing else. Two Arduino.
And what did you make the antenna with?
Right now, this antenna can't receive anything. It's just a model. As Rifat told, if you could make something, some antenna, as Rifat mentioned,
Yagi, the Yagi with poles.
we
Yeah.
can connect that antenna to this if you can scale it down. So this antenna, there's just a model, but the setup, like it is a tracking system. You connect that antenna to this system and point that antenna directly towards the satellite instead of holding it and doing other stuff, crazy stuff. Okay, talking about components again. It's an Arduino and two servo motors. That's it, and rest everything is software. And coming to Orbitron.
So I hope children, now you understood how simple and easy it is to make a small antenna for your understanding, for your basic learning. Right, children? So I hope you will make one and start tracking the satellites. Now, Keertan, you are sitting in the office. Can you just show children, what kind of mission control that we have built, and how it is in our office? Because that is the tracking station, children. Where Kirtan is sitting, that is the tracking station of Space Kids India. We have monitors. We have 5 monitors, and that is we have an antenna in our terrace, and that's how we keep tracking these satellites. So you can just have a look about the run about the room. Also, we have made a glow on room, and it's very interesting for children. These are the monitors where we actually track the satellites. And we have a rocket. This is the C-44, in which our satellite, the KalamSAT V2, was taken into orbit or taken into space. Isn't it very cool, children? So you stand in front of that astronaut thingy and you click picture. So this is a moon impact. We've given a moon impact. So you're all most welcome to Space Kids India. We are here in
Sorry to
Chennai.
interrupt you. Kirtan, if you could speak, because I think then your video will be in showcase in the YouTube live.
Okay,
If
I'm
you're
just
speaking, then her video is, in full screen. So then they won't be able to see the room.
got it, got it. Okay,
Yeah. So
So-
why don't you just show them around?
sure. Okay, this is a ground station, and this is right in Chennai. This is our office, and we have a ground station room in our office, and we have our antenna about terrace, and our antenna is directly connected to our ground station. Here, these are all the monitors where we get data and we analyze everything. We process and we update softwares and everything from here. We send commands to our satellite, all from here. Coming here, we have a rocket which is PSLV C-44, which carried KalamSAT V2 on January 24th, 2019. And here is a model of that rocket. And we have a lot of other cool stuff. Have a moon landing art drawn on wall. The entire room, I'll show you one. Filled with radium stars and space theme. I could call it like space theme room here. Yep. Ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Kirtan. So I hope, children, you all enjoyed this entire our journey and how to build an antenna at home and the big size antenna that was working for us. The way we track. So I think we've really explained everything to you. If you have anything, you can write to us, and we are there to help you. So we all love space and we breathe space. We literally live space, 365 days. And I'm sure there are a lot of children, who are interested, similar to us. You can join hands with us. And thank you, Swati. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Wholehearted thanks to Niti Aayog and ISRO for this great platform.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Kirtan, and thank you, Rifat, for sharing your story with us, for showing us all that you do. I'm sure it has piqued interest in a lot of kids who earlier thought space was unreachable. Now they know that kids from India have launched satellites, all made in India, and kids their age can do it. So thank you for that. And of course, they now know about Space Kids, so they might reach out to you guys for any courses or to learn more about space. Sharing your stories with us. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.